Live from the Channel 4 studios in Boston, this is WBZ News.
A large home in Gloucester goes up in flames overnight. The flames so intense that crews didn't dare make an entry, instead just pouring water on it from the outside. This video from the Gloucester Fire Department shows the ferocity of the blaze. Heavy flames were visible as the first crews pulled up. Thanks for logging on to CBSBoston.com. I'm Ken MacLeod.
And I'm Katie Brace. The fire broke out around 11:20 last night on 2 Penny Lane. Firefighters say flames were shooting out of the home in multiple directions. And the fire was so intense that it spread to nearby grass and trees. No one was inside the home at the time, so firefighters attacked that blaze in a defensive stance to keep those flames from spreading even more. The building is a total loss, and the cause of that fire is under investigation.
Breaking news from Germany tonight. Police in Berlin say they have thwarted a planned attack on the city's half marathon. Video shows officers taking one of 6 people into custody in connection with that plot. Police say the suspects plan to go after both racers and spectators with knives. The half marathon went ahead as planned under the watchful eye of more than 600 police officers.
The arrests come a day after a van plowed into a crowd of people in the historic German city of Munster. At least 2 people were killed, with 20 others wounded. A driver killed himself. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh is setting aside $2 million in the city's 2019 budget for a police body camera program.
Officers wore the cameras during a 1-year pilot program that began in 2016. Results from the program will be released in a report this June. But a preliminary review shows officers who wore the cameras were less likely to have complaints filed against them. Mayor Walsh says he'll wait for the June report to decide how to implement the technology, but wants to make sure the funding is secured.
Because if we wait for the end of the pilot program and we decide that we move forward with this thing, it'll be a year before we can put money into the budget. So we're putting money in the budget now so we can begin the process once we get all the final results. We're expecting those to come back in about 2 months now. In June, the final report will be all done. And indications show that the program's been pretty successful.
The mayor's office plans to file the 2019 budget this week for review by the city council.
Developing tonight, at least 40 people are dead after a suspected poison gas attack near Syria's capital. First responders say they found families suffocated in their homes. The government of Syria's President Bashar al-Assad denies using chemical weapons.
But President Trump is putting the blame for the attack on Assad and Russia, saying on Twitter, quote, President Putin, Russia, and Iran are responsible for backing animal Assad. Big price to pay. The president is calling the attack a, quote, humanitarian disaster.
Fred Playton reports the latest from Damascus.
Some very graphic and troubling images that we've seen there from Duma, which is on the eastern outskirts of Damascus. Very difficult to independently verify any of the information that we're getting from there. But from what we're hearing, all this seems to have happened only about 8 miles from where we are right now. And according to opposition sources, there was a helicopter from the Syrian government that was hovering over that area and then dropped some sort of improvised device. And then afterwards, people started having respiratory problems. The opposition groups are saying that it was a toxic gas that was released. And they say that dozens of people were killed. It's unclear what exactly the death toll is at this point in time because, of course, everything's still very much in flux on the ground there. Now, the Syrian government, for its part, has launched a vehement denial, saying it's not behind any sort of chemical attacks there on the ground in Duma. The Syrian government simply saying they had no reason to use any sort of chemical weapons. They were making large gains on the battlefield and actually have been over the past couple of weeks there on the eastern outskirts of Damascus. They say they had this area of Duma encircled, and they also say that any sort of ploy to try and link them to an alleged chemical attack is simply a move to try and stop them and hinder that offensive that's going on. And on top of that, we're also hearing that apparently by now the Syrian government has actually reached an agreement with the rebel group that was in control of that Duma area for those rebels to be evacuated and for the Syrian government to eventually take control of that area once again. But certainly the events that we've seen there in Duma once again show that it is the Syrian civilians that are bearing the brunt of the fighting that's been raging in this country for about 7 years. Fred Playton, Damascus, Syria.
Police had to shut down part of Route 30 in Weston after a car went off the road and into a creek. Weston firefighters posted these photos of the car, which broke through the guardrail and wound up half submerged in the water. Happened on Route 30 between Ware Street and Ridgeway Road at around 3 this afternoon. We're told there were only minor injuries, though. We are just over a week away from the Boston Marathon, and today hundreds of people ran their hearts out for the youngest victim of the marathon bombings.
The 4th annual Martin Richard Race for Peace kicked off this morning in Hingham with a record 500 participants. A photo of the 8-year-old holding a sign that read, "No more hurting people, peace," went global shortly after the bombings, and it's what inspired the mission of the Martin Richard Foundation.
It's a fun family event, and we like to have families here and kids, and just to understand that it's very important in life, especially in today's world, just to be kind to one another.
People love being a part of this event. It's just special, and it makes them feel like they're doing something and making a difference.
All proceeds from the race benefit the Martin Richard Foundation, which looks to advance sportsmanship, inclusion, kindness, and peace. And WBZ is proud to be the only local station bringing you live coverage of the 122nd Boston Marathon. You can see it right here on Monday, April 16th.
And as we sit here, 8 days out, mind you, Barry doesn't like the weather pattern shaping up tonight. But first things first, let's talk about the week to come.
Timing is everything.
Yes,
it is
indeed.
totally everything, and we'll explain when we get to the forecast coming up. But anyway, not bad today. It could have been warmer. But it's better than it's snowing, I guess. People are had enough of that.
Yep.
Had a little bit of sunshine out there. How about tomorrow when we head out in the morning to catch the bus, going to work, going to school? This is what you'll find. It's going to be a cold morning out there, but it is going to be a bright morning. Most of the clouds which we've had during the day today will disappear later tonight. And then tomorrow at recess, getting close to the upper 30s, near 40. And for the ride home, it'll be partly cloudy and around 45 degrees for your Monday. On the weather map, we do find this next system, which is on the approach. That may give us a couple of showers. It's not going to be a major storm. That happens on Tuesday. There's a storm we missed today, went out to sea. Here's a weak system which has been producing more and more clouds this afternoon. It may produce an isolated snow shower flurry this evening, as you can see the clouds passing across the area. Then later at night, especially after midnight, it becomes clear. So the temperature will fall down to, by morning, close to 30 to 32 in Boston, but most of the suburbs will be down in the 20s. There'll be a cold breeze tomorrow morning, but nothing particularly strong, and the temperature will rise back up to the middle 40s again, probably around 42 to 45. So that's running about 10 degrees below the average for April 9th. So we're looking at more cold weather. And then after that, it starts clouding over. And then Tuesday, we have that system coming in from the west, and it may give us perhaps a few scattered rain and snow showers during the day, but nothing really big likely out of that. So we get rid of that system on Tuesday. It's a weak one. Then we get a batch of showers on Thursday with a warm front coming in. Then we have a lot of warm air to the south. The question is, will that race in here for Friday, or will this cold front here come down too quickly and push it south? Still a little bit tough call on that. Maybe there might be a sprinkle or shower Friday, but I'm going to be optimistic and say we'll have a chance at a warm day. But then that's it, because on Saturday the cold air just pushes back down and makes it rather chilly and raw by later Saturday, although it could be warm Saturday morning. All the while, there's going to be an intense storm moving across the nation, producing a blizzard in the Plain States, and a swath of severe weather starting in the Plain States, heading to the Mississippi Valley. Note, this is Saturday, and a flood of warm and humid air coming up the eastern seaboard. So that's all going to be heading eastward, but the jet stream looks like a very powerful one. This has a lot of amplitude to it. It's digging all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to pick up a lot of tropical moisture, and everything is going to start shifting eastward. So the timing suggests it might be here Sunday night or Monday. Most recent notable weather events during the Boston Marathons, 2015 when it started raining, and it was a cold rain. That was a miserable run for the racers. 2012, it was dangerously hot. And then 2007, there was a tremendous amount of rain, a big, big storm. Just most of it fell just prior to the beginning of the Boston Marathon. That may be a similar case coming up this time around. We may get a lot of rain, but if timing is right, it could happen before the marathon, or if we can just slow it down, it wouldn't rain till after the marathon is over. It is all about timing, and it's just a low confidence forecast now. Last year, of course, it was 75 degrees for a nice mild day, certainly good for the spectators. But here's my forecast as it stands right now. Milder weather is coming back after a couple more chilly days. We'll go finally above average in terms of temperature on Thursday, with a couple of showers as it gets close to 60. A shot of having 73 Friday, but not a definite forecast yet. And then starting to cool off on Saturday. It gets miserable, raw, and damp on Sunday, and we'll just have to wait and see. about the Boston Marathon. We'll keep you posted in subsequent days this week. Back to you, Ken and Katie.
Yeah, wait and see. All right, Barry, thanks. And we thank you for watching this web edition of WBZ News.
You can always get the latest news, sports, and weather on CBSBoston.com. We'll see you on WBZ-TV at 11.